Broadcasting live from the Hanweir Township on the plain of Innistrad. This is Tap Tap Concede.
We are the slaw.
Finally, you are one with slaw, Cameron.
Delightful.
Pool the slaw.
Pool the slaw. Hey everybody, welcome to Tap Tap Concede. Graham here.
Cameron here.
And Kathleen here.
Hey Kathleen, how long has it been since you've been on Tap Tap Concede?
I'm guessing about 8 months.
Probably around 8 months, yeah. This week we're going to talk about the Eldritch Moon. I was going to say Shadows of Innistrad. The Eldritch Moon Pre-PreRelease, and the decks that we played in it, because
Spoiler, they were sweet.
it was awesome. So a lot of Eldritch Moon discussion today. But first, let's crack a pack. Kathleen, roll that die.
Should I roll it onto the floor?
Yeah.
Yep.
Just fling it wherever. Wham! There it goes. Goodbye.
It's coming back.
And it's landing on
19.
what we
I
got.
pre-counted.
Nice. What do we got? What do we got? Hey, it's Dragons of Tarkir.
Yeah.
This was given to us by Sean at MagFest. Dragons of Tarkir.
Good set.
I'm going to start with a Dromoka Dunecaster.
Ooh.
Dromoka Dunecaster. It's a 0/2 for 1, which is not amazing. 1 and a white and tap target creature without flying. This is probably one of the most underwhelming tappers in recent memory.
Yeah, like Sigardan Priest / Abyssinian Priest from the Innistrad blocks.
I love that, by the way.
That hits non-humans.
Yeah.
Is real good.
Yeah. But that's also
this-
1 in tap.
Yeah, and but this
I don't
taps down none of the scary things.
I
in
don't
the
think
set.
anybody played this card. I think
I saw it a little. It's not great.
I think it's like the 23rd card. It's like, I'll
Yeah.
run that again.
Yeah, but in a set that focused on dragons as big finishers, you need to be able to interact with them, and this did nothing.
Well, I mean, alternately, you want to, you're facing a super aggressive, Kolaghan deck or something, but this is too slow, because you got to pay 2 and tap, which means you can't cast, and it's bad. It's not good.
Yeah, no, it was underwhelming.
Next up, this one I liked, though. This is Dutiful Attendant, the man with a bowl for a hat.
Oh, I love this card.
It's a 1/2 for 2 and a black, human warrior. When Dutiful Attendant dies, return another target creature from your graveyard to your hand.
This was so good in the exploit deck.
Yeah, so randomly a warrior.
Yeah.
Which was actually very
was
relevant.
Super relevant.
Yeah. Typically, typically it wasn't as relevant in the deck where you wanted a Dutiful Attendant, but it was like, hey, warrior, why not?
If you pick this up in the warrior deck, you're okay with it.
Yeah, but you bring up a good point that the exploit deck was the best part, because you can use this guy, you can like chump block with him, or more importantly, sacrifice him to exploit and then get a bigger thing back, and that's great.
Or if you had 2 of them.
Sorry, my microphone is getting away from me. Sorry, go ahead.
If you had 2 of them.
Oh yeah, you could loop
cycle them.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so good. It was the exploit deck was so much fun. I really enjoyed it.
I just really like this whole block. This block was very good.
It was.
I saw this next card go off ones of times. It's Impact Tremors. 1 in a red for an enchantment. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, Impact Tremors deals 1 damage to each opponent. I did see a deck with 2, maybe 3 Impact Tremors.
Oh, yeah.
And token generators, and it was pretty friggin' hilarious.
Awesome. I'm so
And
glad when these red enchantments actually cook off.
Yeah, and I think that's the only time it ever worked, but yeah. This guy was fine. Student of Ojitai, 2/4 for 3 and a white, human monk. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you gain 2 life. So it's sort of like Prowess, except that it's the same trigger as Prowess, but in this case you're gaining life rather than him being buffed. I mean, as a Pillarfield Ox goes.
Yeah.
They're fine.
Yeah, Pillarfield Ox with upside
Yeah.
is totally fine.
Speaking of totally fine, Pinion Feast. 4 and a green for an instant, which is nice. Destroy target creature with flying, bolster 2. This was actually pretty okay. I mean, I can't recall offhand if this was main deckable or not, but it was pretty good sideboard. I think in Sealed you would run a Pinion Feast, because in Sealed someone's gonna have some kind of effing dragon.
Yeah.
Cam, was this card any good? Mystic Meditation. 3 and a blue, sorcery. Draw 3 cards, then discard 2 cards unless you discard a creature.
This is so not
Thirst for knowledge?
Yeah, this is so not thirst for knowledge.
What?
Like, I mean,
Or
for one,
was the other
it's-
one compulsive research?
Yeah, compulsive research where you discard
land?
an artifact or a land, or one's an artifact, one's a land. And like, you'd think this would be good, and it's so expensive.
Yeah, this costs.
costs-
Thirst for knowledge is instant, and I'm pretty sure the other one's instant as well.
Compulsive research, I think, is a sorcery.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure.
Thirst is only 3 mana, and it's
Yeah.
an instant speed. This is
Yep.
sorcery at 4, and you have to pitch a creature.
Which is what
Yeah.
you're hoping to draw into, right?
Well, yeah, like,
Mostly?
Like in sealed and limited, certainly.
Yeah.
yeah, like. See, the thing is that I really wanted to play this in my Reanimator deck in a Highlander,
Oh yeah, right.
but 4 mana.
yeah.
So slow.
4 mana is gifts ungiven mana,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
and this is
Not gifts ungiven.
not gifts ungiven.
No.
This is not gifts ungiven 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This is all this thing is not gifts ungiven.
It's a full-time job not
Yeah.
being gifts ungiven.
Like, oh, like I'm gonna need you to be like 5 to 10% better.
Yeah. The
I was pulling hard for this card. When I saw it, I was like, oh, sweet, I want to try this. And it's not any
even
of
in
the better
Highlander,
cards.
even in Highlander where you run
Art's real nice, though.
where you
Yeah.
run the good tutors and then the
Okay tutors.
good tutors and then the okay you run the great tutors and then the good ones and then the okay ones and then even a couple that are fine.
Yeah.
Even in Highlander, you don't run like the thirst for knowledge and then the bad thirst for knowledge.
Yeah, like Thirst for Knowledge is a great
Because you
card,
can also
but
you can still pitch creatures can also be artifacts. So thirst for knowledge totally works in that deck.
yeah, but like,
Missing Meditation just not great.
yeah, it's
All right.
In limited, I quite like this one though. Ojutai's Breath.
Yep.
2 and a blue, instant, tap target creature. It doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step with a rebound.
This was good in this block because a lot of the time people would tap out like on turn 5 to cast some sort of big fatty dragon, and then you're just like tap, and then you get prowess triggers off it
Yeah.
as well.
yeah. Well, this was like, what was the one from Cons of Tarkir that was tap a target creature, doesn't untap during its next untap step, draw a card.
Yes, I don't recall.
Because this was like that, only it always drew another one of those.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, well, that's really
Frost breath,
Yeah.
not
It
Frost,
wasn't
encase in ice or something.
Something
good. No,
like
that was
that.
from.
There was like a troll, or not a troll. There was like one of the big fuzzy orcs being like, "Arr!"
Yeah.
and like frozen in the. Anyway, what I liked about this also is that typically with the tap effects, and certainly ones that make them not untap, is you want to wait for their turn and like tap it down at the beginning of combat, and it doesn't untap during their next untap step. So it's down for that turn and for their next turn. This one you could still do that with, and then on your upkeep, you then tap
Different.
a different creature. Or you could use this one aggressively. If they only have one thing you're worried about, tap it down on your turn, pass to them, it doesn't untap, pass back to you,
And it
then you tap it again.
Yep, and it's gone for 3 turns.
Yeah. There it is, Crippling Chill.
Yeah,
That's the one.
yeah.
Encase in Ice was from BFZ.
Yeah. Next up, Custodian of the Trove is 3 mana for a 2/5 defender, which
I
is
never saw anybody play this unless they had to.
I did.
Really?
I mean, it's not amazing, but it's a 2/5 for 3.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad to see this guy finally found a job.
Yeah, it enters tapped. It's
Yeah.
if you desperately need to just hold down the ground and
Yeah.
wait to do something spectacular.
Like, this guy reminded me, like, because this same creature showed up in all 3 sets in the
Yeah.
Tarkir block.
Yeah.
And he reminded me a lot of, what's his name from Final Fantasy VI? The octopus guy who you meet. Ultros.
Yes.
Ultros,
Right.
who you meet the one time, and he's like this big weird monster that you fight. And then
Yeah.
he shows up again with a friend, and he's like, ha, I brought reinforcements this time. And you're like, you look familiar. And you kick his ass again, and then the 3rd time you meet him after the world comes to an end, he's like, hey, I'll get you into the casino through the back door. And you're like, Ultros, my man,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, Custodian of the Trove was in Cons of Tarkir was Witness of Ages, and then in Fate Reforged, because he was like a golem that's been alive for 1,000 years.
Yeah.
And then in Fate Reforged, he was
I want to say Guardian of the Archive.
Yeah.
something like that. He was like a big guy with First Strike and Trample,
Yeah.
and then then becomes the Custodian of the Trove. Pretty cool. Guardian
of Ages? No.
No, not Guardian of the Ages. That's from M14. It was I can't remember. Big, like he was like a like a 9/7 or something stupid. Like wasn't he huge but just really
I don't
expensive?
remember.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I just know he had First Strike and Trample.
Yeah.
And still didn't see very much limited play because he was really expensive. Anyway,
Anywho, yeah.
More relevantly, the best reprint.
it's Summit Prowler.
Hey.
Summit Prowler was in Dragons of Tarkir and Khans of Tarkir, and the only difference is that in this one there's dragons in the back.
Which I think is hilarious.
I love it. Hey, some things just stay the same.
Yeah, and I really like that this reminds me of those nature documentaries where you're like looking at a goat on a mountainside, and then an eagle just comes and picks it up and drops it. You're witnessing the last moments of Summit Prowler here.
Yeah. So you mentioned exploit. Check this one out. Rakshasa Gravecaller.
Oh,
Hey.
Tiger Friend.
Rakshasa
Yeah.
Gravecaller was so good. A 3/6 for 4 and a black. So
Which
that's,
was such a relevant toughness in this set.
That's actually pretty strong already. With exploit, which means when it enters the battlefield, you may sacrifice a creature. When Rakshasa Gravecaller exploits a creature, put 2/2 black zombie tokens onto the battlefield.
Yeah.
So things that you would exploit. Perhaps a dutiful attendant.
Yep. How do you feel about 10 toughness on the board in one card?
It's
So
really good.
good.
What did they call it?
Well, it's kind of like Baby Grave Titan.
Yeah,
isn't it?
exactly.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out. There was a nickname. I can't remember. I can't even remember our own nickname for it. Sight of the Scale Lords. Not outstanding, but it's a 4 and a green for an enchantment. At the beginning of combat on your turn, creatures you control with toughness 4 or greater get +2/+2 and vigilance until end of turn. So if you already have creatures with big butts, they get even bigger butts, and then they get to attack with vigilance.
I suppose this is to prevent it from like turning on Formidable by itself, or Ferocious, or whatever the whatever the teamer mechanic had.
Formidable. The
Formidable
one,
was
the one where it's if you control 8 power total.
Yeah, you would think this would just be like win more the enchantment, but I guess in a set with huge flying dragons is kind of the rule.
I 100% never saw that get played.
No, because it was a 5. It was literally 5 mana win more.
Oh, yeah, 5 mana, no.
Hey, Cam.
Oh, yes.
Next
please.
up, Silumgar Sorcerer.
Hi, please be a constructed thing. You never were, but you tried.
1 blue for a 2/1 human wizard with flash and flying, which is already sweet.
Yeah.
So I love surprise flyers.
Yeah.
Right? You can keep your mana up for maybe a counter spell, and if they don't do anything, then you just go boop. I get this 2/1 flyer out of nowhere. But it also has exploit. When it enters the battlefield, you may sacrifice a creature. If you exploit a creature, counter target spell. So it's also cancel.
Yeah.
It's cancel that you have to sacrifice a creature to, but then you get a 2/1 flyer, so you're probably upgrading the creature.
Yeah, like maybe it's time to take the blue-black Aristocrats deck out again. Only playing bad cards instead of the good cards that went in the list when it won GPs.
Man, this pack is paying out. This is crazy.
I would be so sad to open this pack and draft.
Yeah.
Well,
Such a good. Well, or not.
God!
Damn.
Dragon Lord Ojutai
Wow.
is our rare.
Oh.
3 white-blue for a 5/4 legendary creature Elder Dragon with flying. Dragon Lord Ojutai has hexproof as long as it's untapped. And whenever Dragon Lord Ojutai deals combat damage to a player, look at the top 3 cards of your library, put one of them into your hand, and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order.
Hey, if you're playing Dragon Lord Ojutai, what's the instant speed removal that's left in the set for your opponents to pick up? Like, because presumably you're going to be in blue and white, so the crippling chills and the judgment style cards are going to go into your deck, right?
Yeah.
Like, was there good black and red instant speed removal? Well,
For
presumably
4 mana. Throttle?
Throttle,
throttle hits. Okay, yeah.
I mean, Dragon Lord Ojutai was not easy to deal with
No.
in Limited.
Because you could only use instant speed removal.
He was hard to deal with in constructed.
Yeah. So when I said the pack was paying out, that was our rare, which was Mythic. We also have a foil Mythic.
What?
Yeah. The guy who showed up in the wrong set, Risen Executioner.
Oh,
2
yeah.
black for a 4/3 zombie warrior. Can't block. Other zombie creatures you control get +1/+1. You may cast Risen Executioner from your graveyard if you pay 1 colorless more to cast it for each other creature in your graveyard.
I don't know why the rest of that sentence is there.
Yeah.
Like, you may cast Risen Executioner from your graveyard. Period. That would be good.
Yeah. I guess it would be too good otherwise.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
It's just surprising that there's a zombie lord in
Dragons of
Dragons of Tarkir.
Well,
Yeah,
you know
you'd think
what, though?
Silumgar would have been like, oh, I killed it. That was weird.
I feel like, but I mean, remember when this set came out, and I was like, I guess the next set will have something to do with zombies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes they do that. I think it's
yeah.
just a pressure valve for like they're like we want a zombie lord in standard, but it's too powerful
for like 3 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's too powerful to put in the other block.
Well, hey,
possibly.
Looks sweet in foil. Hey, a double mythic pack
Wow.
and a Djinn monk.
Wow. Who gave us this pack again? It was
Sean at Magfest.
Thank
Well,
you, Sean.
Thank you very much,
Thank you,
Sean.
So Risen Executioner he's a cool card. He's a 4/3. He's a 4/3 for 4. Can't block. Buffs other zombies. Is cool and everything. Your first pick out of this pack, I think, pretty much has to be Dragonlord Ojutai.
If Ojutai is gone, I'm taking the Rakshasa Gravecaller.
Yeah,
that
I think that's correct.
Card is so good.
Heck, you might even be able to take the Gravecaller and wheel the Risen Executioner.
Yeah.
Possibly,
There's
actually.
a chance.
Yeah.
Because there's enough other stuff in this pack that I think.
Like there's a
that people-
Dutiful Attendant.
I think that people would look at
There's the Ojutai's Breath.
look at the Executioner and go like, well, actually, maybe this pack is not amazing otherwise. I still think Gravecaller is correct.
There's a couple like sort of corner case removal spells.
You never ever take a gold card, but you take Ojutai.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
All right, I'm going to give that back to you, so we
right.
can start talking about. Speaking of
The
gold
pre-pre-release.
cards.
Yeah. So, well, yeah, you want to start?
All right, so I had
Sorry, yeah, so this was the pre-pre-release
for Eldritch
for
Moon.
Eldritch Moon, which, again, like last time, is we brought a bunch of people in from out of town.
It was fantastically fun,
Marshall Sutcliffe, Jimmy Wong, the Professor, Gabby Sparts, Allison from Wizards,
and the three of
and
us.
the three of us.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun, and everyone watching seemed to enjoy it. The viewership was good. The feedback was positive. Everybody had a great time.
And I had the sickest pool I've ever opened at a pre-release. I've never opened a pool that good in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was amazingly. So if you didn't watch it, the replay is up on YouTube.
Yeah, we won't spoil how the results went.
But I will tell
But
you
you
that
can
my
tell us
deck
about your
was
pool.
my deck was called "This is the best pool," or I think this is the most bonkers pool I've ever opened. It has 2 planeswalkers.
Yep.
I opened Jace in my Shadows of Innistrad packs, and then in Eldritch Moon I opened Tammy, and I even got an on-color promo card, which was the duplicate, the imposter,
Yeah.
which
Oh,
is
yeah.
okay.
So-
I never got to like really play with it.
Well, it's just a removal spell that's also your opponent's best creature.
So
Yeah.
let's talk about
It's not that bad, but I didn't like. It's like when I say it's fine, it's like people are either like ooh and like killed it, or I didn't
Yeah.
it just didn't come up.
Yeah, no, that's reasonable.
So let's talk about Tamio, Field Researcher here. So she casts for 1 and the full band. So 4 mana, 1 green, white, blue.
Yeah, I wrecked my deck's mana curve because like realistically I should not have probably gone into 3 colors because I had no fixing, but I was like whatever, it's worth it.
There's very little fixing in Eldritch Moon as compared to Shadows over Innistrad, and in Sealed, you only get
What
you
you
get
get.
4 packs of Eldritch Moon and 2 packs of Shadows. So it's
Yeah.
I had
Tough.
0 fixing, and so yeah, it was a tough mana base, but I mean, the smart money would have been on, okay, you're splashing green for Tammy, but you're only splashing green for Tammy. But I ran a couple other really good green spells, which was greedy, but you know what? It's a fun event.
It's the pre-release. Why not?
So I'm not
So
like
can you
going to
read?
get Planeswalker points for
Can you
it or anything.
please read word for word her plus ability? It comes down with 4 loyalty. So 4 loyalty for 4 mana with a +1. That's sweet.
Choose up to 2 target creatures. Until your next turn, whenever either of those creatures deals combat damage, you draw a card.
To be clear, because this came up a couple times, the way that is worded means that if one of those creatures deals combat damage to a player, you draw a card. If they both do,
You draw 2 cards.
you draw 2 cards.
If perhaps you put it on 2 creatures with vigilance and they attacked in, and and then you draw 2 cards, and then they block on your opponent's turn, that's still until your next turn. That means you draw more cards because it's when they deal combat
It's
damage.
to a player.
No, deals combat damage.
Yeah.
Holy what?
So what happens if those creatures have double strike?
Then you deal 4. You draw
Oh my
4 cards.
God.
It's combat damage. This
It's
card
not
is
to a player.
bonkers.
It's
No.
not to a player. I didn't even realize that. Holy
I had to read
crap.
this a couple times because I was like, this is because Cam and I tested our decks against each other, and
That's
like
so
when
good.
I played Tammy out, I was just like, wow, that's even better than I thought it was, and like.
Yeah.
Because the first time I used it, I plussed up, drew 2 cards. I was like, wait a minute, read it. I was like, no, I'm right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
It's that's sort of one of those things. I mean, we talked about this during the pre-release, but
Yeah.
it's one of those things where grammar and like magic templating,
Is very important.
where like grammar is ambiguous
Yeah.
in this case, but magic templating is not.
Yeah.
Like, because if this was you only draw 1 card regardless of how many, it would be if 1 or more creatures deals damage,
Yeah.
draw a card. That's how they would template it.
Mm-hmm.
But grammatically, yeah, it is actually ambiguous.
Yeah.
But
It's just the way that
it's just the way the English
the way
language
that magic
is.
templating works is if either creature deals damage, then it counts for either one. So that's amazing.
So you could draw up to 8 cards if you had 2 double strike vigilant creatures to put it on.
I hope you're winning the game anyway at that point.
I mean, at that point, you're just like, what do I do with all of these cards? But
Yeah.
she's also got other modes. Her -2, tap up to 2 target non-land permanents. They don't untap during their controller's next untap step. That's very
Okay.
good. That's very good.
Yeah.
I
Like
mean,
Jace
it
Bounce
depends-
could have been Jace Bounce was oppressive.
Yeah.
This is like arguably
Better.
well,
Like, this
yeah,
is good. Like, she's
yeah,
got
like-
this solid defensive mode.
Yeah.
I'd like it better if, like, her defensive, like this card is better that the offensive ticks up, right? But it makes it a little bit win more. Like, the defensive,
Yeah.
the defensive ticks down. So, you know, like, if you're in a
Well, I
if
mean,
you're
like
on
if
the
it was a
back foot-
tick up, all you would do is like tap your opponent's shit forever.
Yeah.
Until she ulted.
Yes. Speaking of ultimate, which I did get to do against Jimmy Wong.
Okay.
And was utterly demoralizing for him and surprising for me because I sort of skim over the ultimate on a Planeswalker because I assume I'll never get to ultimate them. But like I was in such a commanding position drawing all of these extra cards, I actually did get to ultimate her and I had to read it.
I want to talk about the emblem first because it's -7 for the
Yes.
ultimate. You get an emblem that is basically the card Omniscience, which means
This is very good.
you can just play spells for free. You play whatever spells you want. You don't have to pay their mana cost.
That's
if,
very
if there's additional costs, you
Yeah,
have to pay
normally that
additional
should
costs.
cost you 8.
But yeah,
Yeah.
you get Omniscience. But what if? Oh yeah. Sorry,
10, sorry.
Omniscience costs 10.
Actually, Omniscience costs 4 because that's what Show and Tell costs.
Yeah.
But what if you're running out of spells? Well, before you get Omniscience for free that can't be destroyed or interacted with, you get to Ancestral and draw 3 cards. Draw 3 cards, then get an emblem that says you can play whatever for free.
Tammy,
Like,
Tammy,
I want to be in the
we're
room where-
best friends.
I want to be in the room where this card was designed. It's like, yeah, I mean, like giving them an Omniscience is pretty good, but like it's -7. That's a lot. What if they don't have any cards? I don't know. Ancestral? Give that man a raise.
So good.
This card is so pushed. This card is so pushed.
I mean, it's hard to cast, right? And there's no fixing in the
Yeah.
set, so.
Yeah.
But I can't
she's
wait
real
to see
good.
if
She's real good.
I can't
Well,
wait
I
to
mean,
see
like-
if this does stuff in standard.
Oh man, I guarantee you. Well, I don't know how
she is hard.
standard.
She is
like,
hard to cast.
Bant decks are pretty good right now in
They
standard.
are very good. Like,
Like-
all of the top.
like Bant creature strategies.
For Friday nights, we were just looking up what are the top standard decks, and like the top 7 in like the last Star City Games like standard contest were Bant decks, I think.
Yeah, I don't think this goes in the collected company deck, but there's just like Bant
'Cause-
value decks that
Because she's
play
a whiff to collect a company.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So somebody's like, well, I mean, how good can it be if if it doesn't go in Coco? Who cares? Look at the rest of this
Yeah,
card. Somebody
like-
will find a way to use that.
Like I'm pretty happy playing this in a deck with Reflector Mages, and
yeah.
like
So that was sweet. What else was in your deck? What other standout cards did you encounter?
Well, to be honest with you, the rest of the deck was actually like pretty good, but not out. Like it was pretty good. It was sort of like a beefier white mid-range, blue-white mid-range deck, mostly with a couple like I was splashing for green. I had Rabid Bite, which is very good removal.
Yep.
Especially with the kind of creatures I had, which were a lot of like 3/4s and 4/3s and stuff, which is actually you can take out a fairly decent amount of stuff, especially with a Rabid Bite because it's not a fight card. but there was a lot of the new humans. There was, I can't remember any of their names, and I feel bad. There was the one that, like, when it comes in, you search the top 4 cards of your library for a human card. You can reveal it and put it in your hand, and you put the rest on the bottom of your library. It's a white uncommon.
Yeah, I don't remember the name of that one either.
I should have brought my deck in to read from it. But that was really good because I was playing a lot of humans. Rather than discussing the specific cards, because I can't remember the names of them, I'll just sort of give the general strategy. It was like human good mid-range, because there's a lot more humans in this set. I don't know if you guys noticed that.
The human set, or the human tribe, is definitely a bigger deal in Eldritch Moon than I had expected, because they're all fighting there.
Courageous Outrider.
Because they're all fighting the Eldrazi.
So this is kind of like the, what was the Elven card in Origins that did the same thing for elves?
I don't remember. But yeah, 3/4 for 4, Courageous Outrider, and then when it enters the battlefield. So you get to just get all your humans.
Yeah, and I mean, I had a lot of humans in my deck.
Bring some friends.
Which was good, and it did whiff a couple times, but then I just got rid of like 3 land.
I love how many...
With one of the whiffs, it's
actually,
like, that's fine.
Yeah.
Desperate... no, not Outcast. Desperate...
Oh, the Escalate one. The combat trick?
No. The guy. Desperate...
Desperate Sentry?
Something like that?
The 1/2?
Yeah.
That when they die, you get an Eldrazi Scout?
You get the...
Or Eldrazi's horror token?
Yeah, the 3... So there's Desperate Sentry. There's a
Sentry.
bunch... I'm impressed with how many...
Oh, he's pulling a little lamb to its doom.
It's the... No. He's saving the lamb.
Yeah.
It's the lamb to the slaughter.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice that until now.
Yeah, and the lamb is like, no, I don't want to go.
Yeah. I dig how many 3/2s there are, how many of these 3/2 Eldrazi horrors show up. So yeah, Desperate Sentry. It's a 1/2 for 3. If you have Delirium, it's actually a 4/2.
Yeah.
Which is pretty sweet.
So it's like good early and late game?
But yeah, generally speaking, the way I saw people play it at the pre-release was...
To sacrifice it to an emerge creature?
Or that came up a lot actually, which was sick. But also just like as a chump blocker and like, okay, whatever, I block and upgrade to a 3/2.
Yeah, I like this card a lot. I think it's a really good comment. And I had a couple of on-color emerge spells. I had like the one that casts for like a blue and 6 and like 2 blue and 5 or something.
Oh, you had the octopus.
I had the octopus.
Yeah.
Which is also rare.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had a very good pool, Graham. And this guy is great because he takes 3 off the mana cost, making those a lot more affordable, and then you get a dude behind.
So the octopus only cost you
4, I think.
4 mana total?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
So,
it
like-
taps down 4 things when it DTBs.
Yes.
And it has flash.
Yes, which I always forgot. I always cast it main phase.
Yeah, I had in my deck. I had speaking of the Eldrazi horrors, I had a guy called the Extricator of Sin, which is a 0/3 for 3. So it's like that's odd. But when he enters the battlefield, you can sack a permanent and you get a 3/2. And then if you have Delirium, he flips into the Extricator of Flesh, which gives all your which is an Eldrazi, gives all your Eldrazi vigilance, and for 2 and tap and sack a non-Eldrazi creature, you get an Eldrazi.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
That's really flavorful,
and
actually.
he's a 3/5, so he can attack, or it can attack, because it has vigilance, and then you can chump block with a human or a werewolf or something, and then sack it and get a 3/2, and then just keep beating in with all your little horde of Eldrazi's.
Yeah. I like how, because it's just sack a permanent when he enters the battlefield.
Yeah.
So that helps you get Delirium online because you can you can sack a land or something.
Yeah, which I
like
did,
that.
which put me behind on land a little bit, but I think was worthwhile
To get the Delirium?
in the long run. Yeah, I ended up with a white-black deck because I had just a lot of nice removal. I had an Anguished Unmaking from Shadows over Innistrad, which was cool. I had an Elusive Tormentor, which was the 4/4 vampire that flips into the mist that you can't interact with. And I'm trying to remember what the standout Eldritch Moon cards were. But yeah, it was just a really cool, solid, black-white sort of... Humans were relevant. Zombies were relevant. There was a minor spirit thing. Oh yes, zombies. Dark Salvation. That's what I had. Gabby and I both had the Dark Salvation, which is XX black Now this card also confused some people. XX black, sorcery. Target player puts X 2/2 zombie tokens onto the battlefield under their control.
Okay.
Then, target creature gets -1/-1 for each zombie that player controls. So to be clear, that player, this only targets one player, and it is the player who gets the zombies. Target player gets the zombies, and then any creature gets -1/-1 equal to the number of zombies that player controls. People in the chat were thinking that we were doing this wrong. Because the way that
the way that you think is that your opponent's
plays,
creature should get the -X/-X.
Yeah, no. It's any creature. This card plays as bustedly as you think it does. So I tap 7 mana. So X is 3, and single black. I tap 7 mana. I get 3 2/2 zombies, and then any creature, specifically a creature my opponent controls, gets -3/-3. It does not have to be a creature of the same player that gets the zombies. It can be, because it's target creature. But this card is great, and it works in the best possible way for you, the caster.
Okay.
And you can cast this for black. If you have a couple zombies already, you can just pay a single black mana, get 0 zombies,
but you can
still
give target
give
creature -2/-2 or
yes, still give a creature -1/-1 for each zombie you control. It's
Decent.
great.
Decent.
This card's great.
Yeah, seems good.
Seems very
Yeah.
decent.
So I opened that and was like, well, I really want to play black, and there was a lot of stuff that pulled me into white as well. Like I said, I got the Anguish Unmaking and a couple other things, and 0 fixing. I had a lot of good red. And I was thinking, it's like, maybe I should play red, but the white-black deck seems sweeter, so I decided to do that. I did have the red rare Escalate card, and maybe that was stupid of me to not play red. Perhaps that is a Stone Cold Bomb, because it seems very strong.
Yeah, but like I have to say, like I was like, fuck, I'm going 3 colors, and I really suffered my games against Marshall because my mana was bad 2 games out of 3, and I lost.
Yeah.
So like realistically, when there's very little fixing in the set, you have to be very careful about what you're playing, what you're going to play, and you probably erred on the side of correct to have a more consistently playing deck.
Yeah, I think so. But I mean, I wasn't going to go into 3 colors, but I think that maybe it should have been red-black. But honestly, I played red-black last time, and I wanted to try something different, and there was a lot of cool white cards. And like I said, I had like a human sub-theme, and I had like a spirit sub-theme. Actually, an uncommon I want to talk about real quick is the... that's the one, Collective Defiance. Ooh. So it's 1 red for a sorcery. The Escalate is a single mana. So you get to choose 1 or more. I can't quite read it from here because the camera's
target player discards all the cards in his or her hand, then draws that many cards.
Ouch.
Collective Defiance deals 4 damage to target creature.
Ouch.
Collective Defiance deals 3 damage to target opponent.
Aw.
Yeah. So for, if you want to ignore the sort of the weird quasi Wheel of Fortune effect, you can pay 4 mana, dome your opponent for 3, and kill a 4 toughness creature.
That seems very good.
Yeah, that seems fine.
I don't know if that's
good.
enough to put me into red if you have an Anguish
especially
Unmaking.
double red.
Yeah.
But I mean, I had some other good red cards, but I'm sorry that we're so bad with the names, but
That's
it's a 2/2 zombie for 4, 3 and a black. And when it enters the battlefield, you also get a 1/1 spirit. It's
it's Haunted Dead.
Haunted Dead. Thank you. Yeah. That's the one. So this is an uncommon, really sweet, because then you can also pay 1 and a black and discard 2 cards to return it from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. So
Which means you get another spirit.
Exactly. So I had a thing where I had a Haunted Dead, and then I sort of traded it off, and then with 5 mana up, I paid 2, pitched a land and a Twins of Mauer estate, and paid the Madness on the Twins. So I got a 3/5 and the 2/2 back, and the 1/1 spirit. It felt good.
Yeah, that's real good.
It felt real good. I also I probably should have run this card just because it's hilarious, but I didn't have any card that I really felt made it like super worthwhile, which is the Soul Separator.
Oh yeah.
Oh, this is a really neat card. Wacky rare.
Yeah, so it's 3 mana for an artifact. And then the activated ability is 5 and tap and sacrifice Soul Separator. And you exile a creature card from your graveyard. And then you get a 1/1 spirit with all of the abilities, and you get an XX zombie or an XY zombie with no abilities, but that's the power and toughness of that creature. So you get the body and the soul as separate creatures, the teeny little spirit with all the abilities, and the dirtly body with the power and toughness. That's so cool.
It's so flavorful.
Again, I want to be in the room where this card was designed, and the notes on it came back like, this card is really cool. Make sure nobody can ever like exploit it in a degenerative combo.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, exile every part of this thing.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Does Soul Separator get exiled too?
no, it
Oh,
just gets sacrificed.
But yeah.
like,
So yeah, it's super cool. But like,
yeah.
I was looking at my creatures and being like, my creatures are just sort of like pretty efficient. Like I'm gonna get like with if I did it with like, for example, Haunted Dead, which I had 2 of, I'd get a 2/2 zombie and then a 1/1 that got another 1/1, which is sweet.
Yeah.
But it's not. That's not 8 mana and a card in the deck. That's the key part.
Yeah.
Is spending an entire one of my 23 cards on this. I didn't feel that the creatures I had in the deck made it worthwhile.
Yeah.
So yeah. And I also had choking restraints, which impressed me as removal. It's basically just pacifism for 1 additional generic mana. So it's
Oh yeah, I
2 and
really
a white
like this.
creature, hand, attack, or block. But then also you can pay
5 and sacrifice it
Yeah.
to exile that creature.
if you really need something to go away.
Yeah, you give them the Billadama.
Yeah.
Bam.
Well, I mean, like, you can like remove something early, and then late game, if it's got a relevant activated ability, you can be like, no, you really must go.
Also, you can get, for your delirium, you can get this into your bin.
Yeah,
But
oh, yeah.
this does not help their delirium because it exiles the creature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Also, the flavor is great. It's just like it chokes you and holds you there, and then eventually you go away. Because the choking restraint, like they're Eldrazi things, right?
Yeah.
So you're held and you can't attack or block, and then you become an Eldrazi, so you're gone. You're gone away. I think it's neat. Anyway.
Yeah.
Cam, what was your deck like?
I was on a blue-black control plan
Nice.
because, as I said in the deck tech video, I thought it was cool, and the stakes have never been lower,
Yeah, exactly.
which I think is probably a useful way of
that is
looking
correct.
at
Yeah.
looking at this event, where I wanted to try out a lot of things, and
your own pre-release
Yeah.
as well. Like,
well, yeah, I mean, like,
it's
Pre-releases are for fun.
it's new for everybody.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
There's there's prizes obviously, but
yeah,
like
maybe you'll fall ass backwards into a working strategy. Too,
yeah. Don't
right?
worry about exactly. I discover so many weird interactions during play
Yeah.
at the pre-release.
Also,
Yeah.
when you go to a pre-release, you can change your deck as much as you want between rounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Continuous construction.
So you can like really fart around with your deck. So there's no sense not to have fun with it.
Yeah, and I found a lot of cards that I thought were going to be middling were actually like excellent performers, because in blue and black I found it was preposterously easy to turn on Delirium. Like cards like Boon of Emrakul, which is an enchantment aura, giving +3/-3 to a creature.
Oh, that's a very good card.
Yeah, it was a great removal spell, and occasionally it also just turned my Silent Observers into like a 4/1 beater. Right?
4/2.
A 4/2, sorry.
4/2
yes.
flyer, yeah.
Also, it's pretty similar to some other blue-black kind of spells that have been before that you give creatures like it's like a one from like original Ravnica. You give a creature
Yeah.
or no, it's Alara +3/-3.
Nameless inversion.
Yeah,
That's
it's
the shapeshifter one from
Yeah.
Morrowind. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
but
it.
like,
That's an instant. but
usually
yeah.
I've seen these kinds of effects in red, where they gives a bonus to power and a penalty to toughness.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a great performer. What else?
There's a blue-black version of this card too that I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Oh, Agony Warp.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, so we've seen this effect before.
Yeah, that one's modal. That's one creature gets one creature gets -3/-0, another creature gets -0/-3.
Yeah.
Right.
So you get to really mess around with
I
stuff.
feel like enchantment aura is actually super relevant in this block because then it's just a different card type in your bin.
Yep.
Yeah. I also wound up. I know a couple of us opened both halves of the common merge combo.
Oh, I did get that too.
Yeah, which were much more abundant and easier to put together than I thought they would be. And also, Chittering Host
Yeah.
is a pretty relevant finisher.
Yeah.
Like when you cast it, right? It's kind of like worst overrun,
Yeah.
which is still kind of like an overrun.
Yeah, so so you've got graph rats and midnight scavengers. Midnight scavengers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds correct.
And yeah, there it is. So first of all, graph rats is a 2/1 for 1 and a black. It's just a piker in black, which is great.
That's
right?
fine.
Just a little 2/1, play them out early, trade them off, attack. Why not? Midnight scavengers, they're a 3/3 for 5, but they can return a creature with CMC 3 or less from your graveyard to your hand.
Such as your
which
graph rats.
Could be the graph rats, exactly. If you ended up trading them off early, or just getting some value off of it. Why
Or
not?
your Haunted Dead.
Haunted Dead's 4 mana.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Darn. Well, thought
but
I was onto something.
then if you, at the beginning of combat, if you control both of them, then they flip into the Chittering Host, which is, by itself, is a 5/6 with haste and menace. Menace on the 5/6 is very, very good. It gets to attack right away because it has haste. When it flips into Chittering Host, all your other creatures get +1/+0 and menace.
So they can only be blocked by 2 or more creatures.
Yeah.
Well, so like
Cool.
living the dream is you play out your graph rats early and trade them off, and then you get to 5 mana and you play your scavengers, and then you return your graph rats to the battlefield, and then you just go straight to combat where you meld this, flip it, and it has haste, and you just jam.
Yeah, well, you would need 7 mana, right? Because
Yeah.
the
You
midnight
have to then
scavengers
cast
are
the graph
5,
rats.
and then you have
Right.
to be able to cast the graph rats.
Yes.
Graph rats.
But
like
you can also just play the rats, play a 3-drop, play a 4-drop, play the scavengers,
And then just-
jam.
yeah, and then crunch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's surprisingly easy to live the dream. Like
Yeah.
this card seems designed in a way that it's pretty easy to get your rats, or just play it with your rats and then immediately attack with it. Like I
Yeah.
like that it has haste, so it's like I got to do it, and then you don't have to wait a turn to use
Yeah,
it.
do not be surprised to see this come together at your pre-release. Do not go in with the assumption that I've seen people have, where the merge cards are going to be impossible to assemble.
Yeah.
The
Well-
common ones do appear. And,
Yeah.
I mean, don't count on seeing Brazella.
Well,
No, but three of
this
us,
one,
three of us at the pre-release had this combo.
yeah.
Three of us
Wow.
open Chittering Host.
Out of 8 people, that's
Yeah.
really high.
Do not,
Myself and Cam and Gabby, I think.
do not be surprised if you see your opponents playing graph rats that you will see this happen to you.
I mean-
and be prepared for it.
The truth is Graph Rats is totally playable,
Yep.
like playable on its own. But yeah, if you see a turn 2 rats, keep it in your head that they probably have the scavengers as well.
Yeah. Then, oh yeah,
Oh, whoops, that's Graph Harvest.
Graph Harvest
Actually-
was also another card that I had in my pool
Yeah.
that I really wanted to try out because I thought it would be, it's kind of a cool card. I wanted to play around with it, and I wound up making a couple of zombies.
Yeah, I was looking at Graph Harvest and I was like, okay, single black mana enchantment, zombies have menace. That's not worth a card in your
Yeah.
deck. Why would you want to run that card? Oh, because late game you get to just pump out zombies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That happen to have menace now.
Yeah.
That seems sweet.
Yeah. I don't think it actually did a whole lot of work, but I think that was because in most cases Marshall just stood on my throat and started raining blows upon me.
Marshall's
with
deck was
2/1
very fast.
2/1s with menace.
Marshall's
From
deck was
turn 2
very,
on.
very fast. If you stumbled, Marshall's deck would get you.
Even if you were doing pretty good, Marshall's deck would
He
get
had
you.
he had a series of turns. He had a sequence of turns where he cast 3 on
On
color
color
rares.
Yeah.
Just went boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
And it's
Like I said,
was a little
stood on my
demoralizing.
throat and then rained blows down upon me.
Yeah,
Stay down. And I was like, I'm staying down.
I'm trying.
I feel like in your deck and that match you had with Gabby, where both of you guys were playing sort of like grindy, slow games, this would be amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It would have been. It would have really, really helped.
Like if your deck is digging in for the long haul, a Graph Harvest might be where you want to be.
Anyways, the lesson learned from my deck is that the 2/1 wolf for 1 and a red with menace
Is very
a
good?
very good card against control decks. Just play that
card
card
seems very, very
and
Turn it
rain
sideways.
blows down upon the other player.
Yeah.
I was thinking the Graph Harvest, pretty sweet combo with that card from that you guys opened from Dragon the Tarkir.
Oh,
With the Rakshasa Gravecaller?
Well, no, the Mythic.
Oh, yeah.
Because this guy's pulling guys out of your graveyard.
Oh.
So if
And
he's-
giving you zombies.
Well, I got to go speculate on some cards.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I don't. No, this seems sweet.
Yeah.
I wish this wasn't creature card. This would be great if it was any card, but it wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It'd be way too good,
So
I guess.
I guess our sort of overall takeaway is that Eldritch Moon sealed was super fun.
Yeah.
And I am very excited about this set, and I
Yeah.
can't wait to draft it. And I think that they've done a lot of really interesting stuff with it.
Absolutely, I totally agree with you. The power level is actually quite high.
I noticed that too. Because I was like, well, it's just a bunch of dirtly guys, and it's like, no, I got a lot of 4/3s and 3/4s. Like that's big
Yeah.
compared to some of the creatures you've been seeing in
And like especially
other
things
sets.
like the Sentry, the 1/2 that turns into a 4/2 when you have Delirium.
Yeah.
That's
and then randomly gives you a card when he dies. Like
yeah,
there's
there's powerful magic going around here.
Yeah.
Especially like the emerge creatures are complete overperformers. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Especially like if you're in the blue-green emerge strategy.
Oh my
There's
God, the Griff?
guy. Yeah.
The Griff seems very, very good.
There's also a green guy
Corrupted
that,
Griff?
Yeah.
for like 3 mana. He's a 3 mana 1/1.
I feel like a lot of the cards aren't just like dorks. I feel like there's a lot of like. I feel like the power level of this set has been pushed slightly, so the cards are all doing interesting, exciting things. It's not just like this is a dude. It's like this is a dude that does a thing, and it's good, and it's flavorful, and it's got a surprisingly good ability.
Wretched Griff.
Wretched
So it's a 3/4 flyer for 7. When it enters the battlefield, you draw a card. But that not even when you emerge, just when you cast it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, it emerges for 5 and a blue. So if you sack, like if you're in
3-drop or something.
say you're in blue-white and you sacrifice your Desperate Sentry, then this casts for
3.
3 mana,
Yeah.
You get a 3/2 and you draw a card.
and you get this guy.
That seems like a good turn.
Yeah,
That
I
seems
would
like
welcome
quite a good
that.
turn.
Those cards are both common,
Yeah.
by the way. And then what's the green one? The big green one?
The big green one is like the Ruiner of Provinces, the Ruiner of Faces.
The
It's a mythic.
the Decimator of Provinces.
Yeah,
The big
that-
pig.
Yeah,
I was
that
thinking of
one's
a
a
different
mythic.
one.
There's
But yeah, the
there's
pig
an
is cool.
uncommon. But like the Abundant Maw.
Maw.
Hey Maw.
Right, Decimator of Provinces is a 7/7 with trample and haste, and when you cast it, creatures you control get +2/+2 and trample until end of turn.
Oh, so actual not actual overrun,
Yeah.
but yeah, pretty close.
But the emerge on Decimator of Provinces is 6 green, green, green.
Yeah. Ooh.
So even if you sack a 6-drop, the cheapest you can make it is triple green. So it's like not easy, but still woof.
Yeah.
Good lord.
It's a big hit.
Yeah.
I mean like this is gonna lay in.
Bigum Pigus.
I don't know. Are you just playing Craterhoof again in Standard?
Kinda. Wow, yeah. Very, very small hoof. Not a crater hoof, sort of like a
like a puddle hoof.
puddle hoof, but still.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah.
I don't know. It seems like a strategy worth investigating.
Maybe pothole hoof.
I'm trying to
was
think
thinking
of the
puddle
name
hoof, but
of
puddle
the
hoof rolls off the
3-drop
tongue.
1/1 green. It is a human.
I mean, technically, it's bigger than a crater hoof.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. But the effect is
Yeah.
Smaller.
smaller, yeah. Oh, yeah, it is. Crater Hoof's only a 5/5. Only.
Yeah, like the set here seems like it's powerful
Well, I mean,
cards.
like Craterhoof is great because you can't. Because if you bribery it, it's terrible.
Right.
But when you play it into a board full of elves, it's something like a 75/75.
Yeah.
Right.
Sorry.
It's
It's a 1/1 for 3 mana.
Yeah, that does something with Eldrazi Horrors, and it's great for the Emerge deck. And it's got like a horribly mutated Abyssinian priest with like a bullfrog throat.
Ugh. That sounds gross.
And I can't remember what it does.
I just
or what
want to
its
say that
name
the
is.
art team has really knocked it out of the park on
yeah.
this set.
Oh, yeah.
This is so distinctive.
Yes.
This is like
This is a good set. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed
Yeah.
playing with it. I think it's fun. I think the creatures are powerful and interesting.
Yeah.
They have high power and high toughness, which always is more fun to cast when you cast something that's like a 7/7 or like a 3/4. It seems more rewarding than casting a 1/2 to me. You're like, yeah, big dude.
So-
it's me being a bit of a Timmy.
Sorry, what was that card?
I don't remember the name.
What did it do though?
I don't remember. It is 2 and a green. It's 3 CMC, green creature, 1/1 power and toughness. The set is up on Gatherer.
Yeah.
But like, I also had the blue.
Foul Emissary?
That's the one.
What's he
when
do?
Foul Emissary enters the battlefield, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order.
Okay.
When you sacrifice Foul Emissary while casting a spell with Emerge, put a 3/2 colorless Eldrazi horror creature token onto the battlefield.
Oh, he's specifically for
For
Emerge.
Emerge,
Oh,
yeah.
wow,
Okay,
that's
so
dope.
he's basically a combination of like
The Outrider.
Outrider.
it's a courageous outrider,
Yeah,
but
and
for
yeah,
that's
for
rad.
the
but
Emerge.
for Eldrazi.
Yeah, like
Alright.
the Sultai or the Simic Emerge strategy is real in this set, and I'm looking forward to drafting it.
Sweet.
I think it's I don't know if it's super powerful, but it's definitely sweet.
It's super sweet. And I hope that you have fun at your pre-release if you're going, or next time you get a chance to play. Let us know how it goes.
Yeah.
Hit us up on Twitter at LRRMTG. Let us know how your pre-release went. Talk about it in the comments below. And yeah, that was it. That was our pre-release basically, and hopefully yours goes well also. So thanks so much for listening. As always, this show and all of our shows are brought to you by you and your kind support of our Patreon at patreon.com/LoadingReadyRun. Check it out, and thank you so much for your support because it means the world. So, thanks everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.